Hello again everybody, this lesson is for High Hopes by Panic at the Disco. I think realistically in the recording it's electronic drums, but I've done my best to work them out on acoustic kit. It's definitely a bit of a challenge, but let me help you break them down. Let's jump on the kit and check it out. I'm going to start this lesson for the drums in bar 5 of the song, where I can definitely hear a snare drum coming in. It's kind of like a marching style snare drum, and there are a lot of grace notes going on which are quite tricky to play. I'm going to play through it slowly, see how you go, but if you can't get the grace notes, just leave them out and I think it will still sound pretty good. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1 and 2 and 3 So I'm playing 5-stroke rolls mostly there for those grace notes, which is right, right, left, left, right. And that last note is the main note you want to hit. The right, right, left, left are the grace notes before that main note. Into the next 4 bars, we just add some hand claps, and I'm going to catch those on the left foot of the hi-hats. Getting all those extra doubles and all those grace notes in there is definitely its own little challenge. As I said, if it's too tricky, just leave them out, but it's something for you to work on because it's great to have those rudiments in your tool bag when you're playing on the kit. Moving on, we're into our first verse, and that's also our first beat. For starters, the hi-hats kind of drop in and out a little bit, so I'll just play the first 2 bars. From there, we just grab that same beat and add 8th note hi-hats over the top with a tiny little fill at the end of the next 2 bars. The next 2 bars are just the same once again. And then the final 2 bars of this verse start off on the floor tom, but then kick back into that beat again. I'll play that whole first verse all together. That brings us to the first pre-chorus, which is very easy. We're playing 16th notes on the right cymbal and just keeping quarter notes with the hi-hat on the left foot. We come off on beat 3 to finish off that pre-chorus, and then we're into our first chorus. This is where things get a little bit tricky because we're going to grab those snare drums from the very beginning, but we're going to put them in a beat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the grace notes and play them with my left hand, and then move my right hand off the hi-hat to play the main note after the grace notes. Let me play it slow. And then the next two bars are very similar. The next 4 bars of the chorus don't change all that much, but I'll play through them now. The next verse is quite tricky. What I can hear is some buzzed 16th note triplets on the hi-hats just to kick everything off, and we're going to leave off beat 4. We kind of have that little break at the end of every bar. So once again, I'll play it slowly and hopefully you can grab it. That fill at the end is just kind of an amalgamation of what I can hear going on. I don't know if it's 100% accurate, so if you come up with something else, you could definitely use that. Moving on in the verse, we're going to scale things back to mostly 16th notes, and this is how it's going to sound. We hit the pre-chorus from there just the same as we did the first time with the 16th note ride cymbal and the quarter note left foot hi-hats, but halfway through this pre-chorus we're going to add in a beat on the kick drum and snare drum just like this. And this pre-chorus ends with a pretty cool fill coming off on beat 1 down on the floor tom. So now we're at the part where the drums drop out and we have an a cappella chorus. When we come back in, we're going to start things off with a fill and then build things up slowly using 8th notes and then eventually 16th notes as well. From there we're into our final chorus, which is very similar to the choruses we've already played with just a couple of extra fills. I'll play through the first 4 bars. the final 4 bars of the song. There you have it, that is High Hopes by Panic at the Disco. As I said at the beginning, those grace notes are quite tricky, so if you're having problems with them, just leave them out, and most of those beats will still sound really good when you're jamming along to the song. Happy practicing with that one. I'll see you guys at the next lesson.